This is a great tie-in. So Cameron writes in, he says, so you guys have talked quite a bit about community in the last couple months. My question is, when community is not only sparse, but in a place like Iran where persecution is a real thing, do believers fall back on Matthew 18:20 for what constitutes a community? And for those who don't have it on the top of their head memory list, Matthew 18:20 says, for where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I among them. I think I will weigh in, then I'll pass this over to you. I think that we should fall back on Matthew 18:20 as the standard for community in general. I don't think it's a fallback for when we have small communities. In other words, there have been times when my family has showed up to our church and it's us and one other family. There has been a time when we sat around our table before we were in a church building. We sat around our table in our living room and one other couple showed up. It was my family and literally two people, a husband and a wife. And I kind of thought to myself, man, should we still do this if it's just us? And the answer is, yeah, we sat down and we did service like we would do
totally
with
you
everybody
can have
there.
awesome conversations. So sometimes you're able to, the conversations go into more personal,
When we talk about community,
connection.
I think that people think that what we're talking about is establishing communities in buildings where, you have 100 or 50 or whatever people, and you have this service or whatever that's specific. What I'm talking about community is the commandment to gather together. I think where you go wrong, where two or three are gathered, that notion is when it's only your own family. And I've taken heat for this before too. But the reason I say that is because it's an echo chamber. Whatever dad says is going to go. You have another family there, and you have two dads, or you have another person there that's outside the family. They're going to give you some pushback on stuff. And that's
Right.
iron
And the conversation then changes dynamically, Good points, Caleb.
So
yeah, I love that verse. Some say, I've heard it said that it's talking about making the judgment because it's coming on the heels of if a brother sins, etc. And then Yeshua cites the Torah. It says, out of the mouth of two or three witnesses, says, may every fact be confirmed. And so people say that is the context to understand the two or three that he's saying here. Two or three gathered in my name, I am in their midst. But I think even if that's true, even if Yeshua is using that specifically to encourage the leaders of a group who are having to make these kinds of decisions, it's a general thing that's true, that people who gather in Yeshua's name, even if it's just a few, that's community. Think about when when Peter has his vision, right? And he's to go to the house of Cornelius, right? There's an example. They had a little, that was a legitimate expression of community.
right.
When it was Cornelius's family and Peter and maybe a couple other people. I mean, it wasn't like a huge group. I don't think, not that I remember it being a huge group by any means. Or there's a story that Luke tells of Yeshua with Mary and Martha, right? And maybe there was a few other people there, but you don't need a huge group. The importance is Yeshua. Are you gathered in Yeshua's name? That is so important. And then, and do you take his name seriously? And what he means is, it's not Yahusha. You have to say Yahusha or Yahushua or all these kind of strange things that people say. That's not what he means.
Or Jesus or Yeshua. It's not about the pronunciation of the, it's about who Yeshua is. It's about who God is. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and check out more videos from Messiah Matters.